gotta balance this because it's on my knee. And so if it shakes, sorry about that. It's just, I'm just trying to get it balanced. Yeah. Alright. And being that I feel that this video is going to be removed, I'll be concentrating more with this one here. Bringing my attention to this. Yeah. The reason why I think this video will be removed is because a blamer said, well, at the UN, blaming a video that no one ever saw for Benghazi. Yeah. Make no mistake. There must be no future for those that slander the Prophet of Islam. And slandering the Prophet of Islam is doing what I'm doing right here. It was just exposing stuff that I think is stupid or evil in the Quran. Okay. But the Arabic word can mean any of these. Now it can mean, yeah, now it can. Now it can. Trouble is, put leech into the web browser of sunnah.com, please. And if they chose the wrong one, they made a mistake. They are human. Again, put leech into the web browser of sunnah.com. The Christian source of Jesus' life is not reliable as we believe, except when the Quran says he was preaching from in the cradle and making living birds out of clay, right? Then that is to be believed, right? And when the Quran says he was secretly taken up to partner with Allah in heaven, making it only appear that he went to the cross, well, that is to be believed, right? By the way, Muslims get after Christians for believing in the Injil being written nearly 50 years after Jesus, don't they? If so, how come they have no problem with the Quran talking about what Jesus did or didn't do, and it was nearly 600 years after Jesus? How come Muslims don't get don't get looked down on for that? We aren't to believe what the Injil says. The New Testament was written some 50 years after Jesus, but have no problem with what the Quran says about Jesus being written, 600 years after. Why the double standard, O slave of the best of deceivers? Why the double standard? Yeah. And saying he is crucified is bad because bad is a bad thing because by Bible cursed who is crucified. No, it says cursed is he who hangeth. I think it's cursed. And he who hangeth upon he is accursed. Let's go something like that. Or some people have cursed is he who hangeth on a tree. And I don't see how this means Christianity is false. For by Jesus being made sin for us by hanging on a tree, even though it's either a cross or a tree, or a stake or something like that, we are redeemed. He becomes a curse to remove the curse of sin on us. Why would Allah, who wrote the Torah according to the Quran, have the Torah saying such a stupid thing if it wasn't for later having Jesus becoming, in a way, cursed for us by taking on the sins of the world? Why would Allah put that in the Torah? Think, O slave of the best deceivers. Think. And it means he died. Right, Jesus died while taking on the sins of the world. Or was it after? Whatever. It made him say, it is finished. And with it, the temple curtain was rent in two, which seems to show to me there's now a new covenant. Well, we don't believe Jesus died, but God saved him. Right, creating damning Christianity by only making it appear that Jesus went to the cross. If Islam is true, that is. Verse 568 is out of context. If so, then put it in context, okay? It's about story of adultery. Where do you get that in Quran 568? Where? They didn't want to stone him, so God revealed those verses to tell the Jews that they are not even following their book, which they claim it's from God, and they didn't want to stone those adultery people and try to hide the verses. Where do you get that? Anywhere in Quran 568. And what do you think of Quran 547 that tells Christians to use the Injil to judge their end of the Quran? How does that mean? How does that do? How does that mean? How does that mean anything dealing with adultery? You know. And yet we don't believe the existing Bible is the real Torah and Injil, Dead Sea Scrolls. If so, when did the real Bible, Torah, and Injil become corrupted to make the Quran a lie about it, confirming those books? You know, when? Or we don't even believe Torah and Injil was, or even the Torah and Injil was with Muhammad's time in Medina. Oh, really? I'll read that again here. And we don't believe the existing Bible is the real Torah and Injil, or even the Torah and Injil was with Muhammad time in Medina. Then why is there Quran 1094 telling Muhammad to go to those who have been reading the before scriptures, not reciting, but reading? And again, why does the Quran say it confirms the book if the book that makes people the book is corrupted? Why? You know. As you know, there are different versions, specifically when it comes to Gospels or Injil. False. They may be worded differently, but all have Jesus going to the cross to make sense of all those sin offerings and blood atonement shed by innocent animals described in the Torah. All this book given to Musa. Quran 3:28 and 16:106. Yes, I did explain it already. No, you didn't. He didn't explain it. He says it's kind of funny. He'll say he's explained it when he never did. Where did you explain them in this thread? Or this video series? Where? And please don't open many points at once. Keep it one by one. Then be clear and to the point without takia, line for Allah. Be truthful, okay? We are not in a hurry, and I wouldn't want to miss your points because it's so many. Be truthful and it'll be short. Trust me. You'll say, what? What does that mean? And if they knew anything about it expanding, where did you get that? They know the meaning, but do you know the meaning? What's happening? No. So maybe it's a reason for them to say Quran is wrong, because they didn't reach this level of knowledge. Knowledge of what? So we now can see it's more true than them seeing it and reading something they don't know if it's true or not. But again, they had their own signs and miracles and some proven prophecies prophecies that they couldn't deny it. But some people chose to go to hell and deny the truth, so up to them. What did the Quran get right? Remember in Deuteronomy, part of the Torah that is supposed to be Allah's book given to Musa, it's not how many prophecies a prophet gets right. It's the one prophecy the prophet gets wrong and makes him, quote, not to be feared. That is, makes him a false prophet, it seems. You think Mo got all of his prophecies correct to not be what Deuteronomy warns of? You say, let's see, how much time do I have left here? I've got some time, yeah. You'll say, as stupid as saying embryos are blood clots? If so, well, so. Again, you are forcing the meaning. What's that mean? If you hear or read blood clot for a ball of dividing cells, which is what an embryo is, how is that forcing the meaning? And as I showed you, the word can mean more than that. Well, now it does. But as I showed yesterday, there's no mention of leech in all of the hadith. That's written in English, of course. Yeah, I'm betting Mo and those in Arabic didn't even know what a leech was. It was only after we discovered that an embryo is never a clot of congealed blood, that is blood clot. And I'm betting it was then that alaka, or alak, started taking on new meanings like clean, chewed food, leech-like substance, etc. I'd call it Muslim covering their upraised patootie in prostration. It's like the Quran used to mean the earth was spread out like a carpet. But when we discovered the earth is round, then spread out like a carpet also then silly meant Earth is shaped like an ostrich egg. And it's not even shaped like an ostrich egg. It's shaped like the moon. That is round. Earth is not shaped like an ostrich egg. It's shaped like the moon. Round. So you can't force the meaning which you think is wrong. I'm not forcing it. I'm pointing out how Arabic words and phrases took on added meanings when science proved the world is not flat and embryos are actually balls of dividing cells and not even leeches or leech-like substances. Again, if you didn't like this, you can choose other signs. Don't worry, there are more. Oh, well, go for it. You say, oh, really? If true, then give an example to show such perfection. Okay, the language, bro. Right, give an example of the perfection of that language, okay? Yeah, I want to hear what the language is. See how it's so perfect about the Quran. Quran did challenge Arabs to take one chapter like it 1400 years, and they couldn't. I eventually take him up on this challenge. I never heard of the false Quran called the Furqan, Al-Furqan. Muslims are warning Muslims to not read it because it sounds like the Quran, but it's not the Quran. If no one can bring a Quran like the Quran, why do Muslims have to bother warning other Muslims of this false Quran? To warn other Muslims about this false Quran seems to be an admission that there can be a book like the Quran. By the way, even I made a surah like the Quran. It was called The Scorpion, which I introduced on later. That went something like this. In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, most merciful, our scorpion awaits the infidel who rejects our clear signs. And face it, it's like the Quran because it begins with, in the name of Allah, blah, 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 like the Quran. And it has Allah using the royal plural, like the Quran. And it has a threat for rejecting the Quran, like the Quran. And guess what, Ziad? Anyone can write something like the Quran. If you write words down that promise reward for doing good and punishment for doing bad, well, guess what? That is like the Quran. If you write down words that says there is no God but Allah, well, guess what? You've just written something like the Quran. Do you see just how stupid this challenge from the Quran is? Think, O slave, the best of deceivers. Think. What the Quran should have said only is, if you are in doubt about what we, Allah, have sent down, then bring another Quran far better than what we have sent down. And you want to know why that would have been better for Muhammad to have said that? Because to say something is far better than something is in the eye of the beholder. You really don't see how stupid the quote Quran challenge is, do you? Again, anyone can write something like the Quran, but to write something far better than the Quran, well, that again is in the eye of the beholder. Writing something worse than the Quran is in the eye of the beholder. It doesn't matter if it's good or bad, it's all in the eye of the beholder. You know, the Quran should have said, again, bring something better, you know, a lot better. That would have been more, that would have been harder to do. But to write something like the Quran, anyone can write something like the Quran. Quran is used as base for Arabic grammar and language. Oh, I gotta stop it here. Bye.